Welcome to the Deep Dives, where we take these dense stacks of information, the academic papers, the historical analyses, all this fascinating research, and we turn it into knowledge you can use fast.
And today we're diving into something that's not just history, it's really the bedrock of the Western imagination.
Greek mythology.
Exactly. And it's so much more than just a bunch of old stories. The sources describe it as a kind of tapestry, woven from wonder and fear. These were tools for living.
Right. And when you actually break down the word mythology, it tells you everything you need to know about how seriously they took it.
Really does. You have mythos, which is Greek for story or legend, and you combine it with logos, which is all about the pursuit of knowledge. So this is never just entertainment. It was their first real system for making sense of the universe.
And you have to put yourself in their shoes for a second. These stories were their science. It was their way of trying to unravel all the mysteries of existence without telescopes or microscopes.
Right. So instead of physics, they had gods. They used these huge, powerful, and very flawed figures to explain everything. Thunder wasn't a weather phenomenon.
It was Zeus.
It was Zeus.
Yeah.
The changing seasons weren't about the Earth's tilt. They were about a goddess's grief. And human emotions, like love or rage, they were forces wielded by divine beings.
It's their cosmic operating system. So to really get it, we have to start where they did, at the very, very beginning, with chaos. And I think for us, chaos just means a mess. But for them, it was something else entirely.
That's a great distinction. It wasn't just a void or emptiness. The earliest sources call it a vast, swirling abyss. It wasn't empty. It was just unformed. It was pure potential.
And from that potential, the first real powers emerge.
That's right. You get Gaia, who is the solid, nurturing earth, and Uranus, the big, expansive sky.
The first power couple, and they have kids, the Titans, these huge, colossal beings.
The first dynasty. And this is where the first major pattern emerges, and it's a brutal one. Cronus, one of the Titans, overthrows his own father, Uranus, with that famous sickle.
And then he becomes absolutely paranoid that the same thing is going to happen to him.
Deeply paranoid. So his solution is just deeply unsettling. He devours his own children as soon as they're born.
It's this cycle of patricide and fear that just sets the stage for everything. But of course, one child, Zeus, is hidden away.
Right. And when he grows up, he comes back to challenge his father. And this war, the Titanomachy, it's not just a brawl, it's a generational shift.
It's strategy too, isn't it? It wasn't just Zeus's power alone.
Oh, absolutely not. That's the key detail. Zeus wins because he builds alliances. He goes down to Tartarus and frees these monstrous beings his father had imprisoned.
The Cyclops.
The Cyclops, who then forge his thunderbolts, total game-changing weapons. And the hundred-handed giants, the Hecatoncheires, whose brute force was just unstoppable.
So it's strategy, it's new tech, and it's alliances. And that victory brings in this whole new era.
The era of the Olympians. A new dynasty, a new world order ruling from Mount Olympus, but still very much driven by these huge, complicated personalities.
And that's maybe the most important thing to understand about them. The sources call them radiant and flawed.
And that's perfect. Because they mirror the heavens, but they also mirror the messy reality of the human heart.
So let's talk about the main players. At the very top, you have the king, Zeus.
Wielder of lightning, enforcer of justice, he is the ultimate authority figure.
But, and it's a huge but, he is constantly unfaithful, deceptive. He's kind of a mess. How did they square that? A god of justice who couldn't keep his own house in order.
I think it taught them that power itself is complex and often hypocritical. It's not clean. And you see that right beside him with his wife, Hera.
The queen, the guardian of marriage.
She is. And she's loyal to that role. But her jealousy over Zeus's affairs is this incredibly destructive force. It's never really aimed at him, though.
No, she always goes after the victims.
Always. Their marriage is basically the divine model for political strife and, really bad domestic arguments.
And then you move to the more intellectual side of things with Athena.
Yes, and her origin story says it all. She's born fully armored from Zeus's head.
Which is just, what a metaphor.
It's amazing. She's wisdom, she's strategy. She's not about the chaos of battle. She's about the tactics to win it. She represents civilization.
As opposed to someone like her uncle, Poseidon.
Oh, Poseidon is the total opposite. He's the raw, unpredictable power of the sea. For a maritime culture like the Greeks, he was maybe the most terrifying god on a day-to-day basis.
Because his mood could just wreck your entire fleet, your entire livelihood.
In an instant. Total volatility. Which makes his brother, Hades, so interesting in contrast.
The ruler of the underworld. He seems, almost surprisingly, the most stable of the three brothers.
He really is. He's not capricious. He's the ultimate administrator. His realm is defined by a cold, constant order. It's a terrifying certainty, not a random threat.
So you got these major powers. What about the others, like Demeter, who's in charge of the harvest?
And her moods literally dictate whether people eat or starve. It's such a direct link between divine emotion and mortal survival.
And her counterpart in the wilderness is Artemis, the huntress.
The wild, independent force, protector of animals, protector of chastity. She's completely her own agent.
Then you have the gods who represent these really raw human energies.
Like
Ares.
Ares is just war for war's sake. The sources describe his spear as thirsty for conflict. He just loves the chaos.
A really interesting contrast to Aphrodite.
A beautiful contrast. She's born from sea foam. She represents love, desire, beauty. But she can cause just as much chaos as Ares.
Just through different means, seduction instead of a spear.
Exactly. They understood that the most powerful forces, even love and beauty, can be incredibly destructive.
And then you have the figures who sort of bridge these worlds. Hermes, the messenger.
The swift-footed messenger. He's the link. He's cunning, commerce, communication. He's the god of the internet, basically.
And finally, Dionysus.
God of wine, revelry, ecstasy. He represents that part of the human spirit that just, defies neat categorization and order. He's the wild party.
Okay, so we've got the divine rulers. But the real drama, it seems, always kicks off when they start interacting with mortals. The heroes.
Yes, the heroes. And they weren't just strong guys, they were almost always people wrestling with their fate, usually because they had a divine parent or had made a god very, very angry.
You think of someone like Heracles, the strongest man in the world, but his life is just one tragedy after another.
His strength was a curse. His famous 12 labors were penance for a fit of madness sent by a jealous Hera. It's a story of incredible power, but also incredible suffering.
Then you have a different kind of hero, like Odysseus.
Oh, Odysseus is a huge evolution. He gets home after 10 years, not because he's the strongest, but because he's the cleverest. His wits, as the saying goes, outshone swords.
It's a shift to valuing intelligence.
A massive shift. Same with Perseus, who kills Medusa not by facing her head on, but by using a mirrored shield. It's about outthinking the problem, not overpowering it.
But with all these amazing heroes, there's always a catch. A warning.
Always. The warning against hubris. That sin of excessive pride.
Which brings us to Icarus, the ultimate cautionary tale.
Flew too close to the sun. He had this amazing gift from his father, but he let his ambition get the better of him, and it destroyed him.
And even the greatest warrior of all, Achilles.
Yeah.
He wasn't invincible.
No. Even Achilles had his heel, his one point of vulnerability. It's a powerful message. No matter how great you are still mortal. You have a weak spot.
And this whole world was just teeming with other creatures, right? Nymphs, centaurs, sirens.
Oh, it was a living, breathing world where the line between the natural and the supernatural was basically non-existent. Everything was magical.
So how does this all translate from stories into, daily life?
Yeah.
These myths weren't just bedtime stories.
Not at all. They pulsed at the heart of society. They were the framework for everything. Religion, for one.
Mm-hmm.
You were constantly making sacrifices and performing rituals to keep the gods happy.
Appeasing their wrath.
Or seeking their favor. And it shaped the culture. The Olympic Games, they started as a religious festival to honor Zeus.
Right. It wasn't just sports.
No, it was worship through athletic competition. And you had oracles, like the one at Delphi, giving out cryptic advice that could decide the fate of entire cities.
And it shaped their morals, too. The myths were teaching tools. They taught the importance of hospitality, for example, or the extreme danger of pride.
Exactly. And people would use them in their daily lives. A sailor would pray to Poseidon before a voyage. A general would pray to Athena for a good strategy. The gods were immediate. They were present.
Okay, but here's where it gets really fascinating for us. This stuff isn't just ancient history. It's still here.
It is. It's everywhere, hiding in plain sight. Because the themes are timeless love, betrayal, ambition, death.
Look at pop culture. Movies, books, video games.
Yeah.
They are filled with these gods and monsters. We're still telling these stories.
And we're still using their language. This is maybe the most pervasive influence. We talk about an Achilles heel for weakness.
Or opening a Pandora's box.
Right. It's become a linguistic shorthand for these really complex human ideas.
And it's in the commercial world, too. I mean, Nike...
The goddess of victory. It's not an accident. Or think about the NASA missions.
The Apollo program.
Named for the god of light, prophecy, and order. We're still reaching for these archetypes to describe our biggest ambitions. It proves these stories are basically immortal.
So we've gone from the swirling chaos of the dawn of time, through the brutal war of the Titans, to the reign of the flawed and fascinating Olympians.
And we've seen how their interactions with heroes shaped an entire culture's view of fate, courage, and vulnerability.
It's clear these myths provided the entire moral and cosmic fabric for a civilization, and they still give so much texture to our world today.
Which brings us to, I guess, a final thought to leave you with. The Greeks used these stories to deliberately blur the line between the world they could see and the invisible forces that governed it.
Okay.
So if these ancient narratives shaped their laws, their morals, and even as we've seen our modern vocabulary, what unspoken beliefs are we carrying around today just because their foundations were etched into these myths so long ago? What cosmic rules are we still following without even knowing it?
The myths await. Will you heed their call?